The topic of discussion is demand and demand function. What do we mean by individual demand? But before that, we need to understand what is demand. Demand is a desire to have a commodity for which a consumer is willing and is capable to pay. Therefore, individual demand is the desire to have a commodity by a single consumer. Also, demand is considered to be the quantity purchased by a consumer in a given period of time. It must be kept in mind that demand is backed by a purchasing power. Unless and until the desire of a commodity is complemented with the ability to purchase it, it cannot be called a demand. Thus, demand has two components. Number one, desire, and number two, the ability to pay. Let's study the factors of demand. First, we have the price of the commodity. Demand has a negative relationship with the price. That is, if price of a commodity increases, the quantity demanded of that commodity decreases. Second is the tastes and preferences. More favorable is the taste for that commodity, greater will be its demand. Third, we have the income of the consumer. There is a positive relationship between income of the consumer and its demand. That is, higher the income of the consumer, greater will be its demand. Lastly, we have prices of related goods. Now, related goods are of two types. First, the substitute goods. These are the goods which are consumed in place of one another, like black pen or blue pen. If price of a substitute good increases, the demand of the commodity increases. Thus, demand has a positive relationship with the price of a substitute good. Second is complementary goods. These goods are consumed together, like car and petrol. If price of a complementary good increases, demand for a commodity decreases. Thus, there is a negative relationship between demand and price of a complementary good. Let's now understand what is utility. Utility is the satisfaction derived by an individual after consuming a particular commodity. Thus, demand is a function of utility and there is a positive relationship between them. This implies that higher the utility derived from a commodity, greater the demand for that commodity. What is quantity demanded? Quantity demanded is the amount of a commodity which is bought at a particular price by a consumer. It should be remembered that demand is a flow concept. That is, quantity demanded is measured over a period of time. Also, the quantity demanded of a commodity is greater than the quantity available for sale. This is the reason why a price can be determined for a commodity. To cut the story short, quantity demanded is a function of price, assuming that the other determinants like income, tastes and preferences, etc. are assumed to be constant. As mentioned earlier, there is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. That is, higher the price, lower will be the quantity demanded. One point to note is that we are taking price as our independent variable and quantity to be our dependent variable. If we derive it mathematically, then demand is expressed as Q is equal to A minus B P, where A is the intercept and B is the slope of the demand curve. After studying the demand, let's understand what is demand schedule. Samuelson defined the demand schedule as the table relating to price and quantity demanded. Thus, demand schedule is a tabular presentation of quantity demanded. What are the types of demand schedule? First is the individual demand schedule. It is the tabular presentation of the quantity demanded for a single consumer. Thus, it shows the quantity demanded of a given commodity by one consumer at all possible prices at a given moment. Then we come on to market demand schedule. It refers to the summation of individual demands. Thus, it is the quantity demanded of a commodity by all the consumers at various prices given at a point of time. Now, once we have studied about the demand schedule, it's time we know that what is demand curve. Demand curve, in simple words, is the graphic presentation of the demand schedule. Leftwich defined it as the demand curve represents to maximum quantity per unit of time that consumers will take at various prices. So our demand curve looks like a downward sloping line with quantity represented on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. Like demand schedule, demand curve is also of two types. First is the individual demand curve, which shows the quantities demanded by a single consumer at different prices. Second is the market demand curve, which is simply the horizontal summation of individual demand curves. Now we know what is demand, demand schedule and demand curve. So it's time we now come to the law of demand. Law of demand states that if the price of a commodity decreases, the quantity demanded of it will increase, other factors remaining constant. Thus, there is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. However, there are certain assumptions made before applying the law of demand, and those are the other things which we kept constant. So they are: the tastes and preferences of the consumer do not change. There is no change in the income of the consumer. Prices of related goods do not change. And consumers do not make any expectations regarding the price in future. Thus, if any of these assumptions are violated, the law of demand may not hold true. After stating the assumptions, we need to understand the rationale behind downward sloping demand curve. First is the law of diminishing marginal utility. The law states that with every successive increase in the consumption of the commodity, the marginal utility derived from it decreases. Also, the consumers are willing to pay a price for the commodity equivalent to its marginal utility. So with every increase in quantity consumed, the marginal utility decreases and so does the price. Second reason is the income effect. If the price of a commodity decreases, the real income of the consumer increases, which makes him capable of consuming more units with the same level of income. Next, we have the substitution effect, which was explained by Marshall. He states that with the fall in price of a commodity, it becomes relatively cheaper. This induces the consumer to consume more of that commodity instead of the other commodities, which have now become relatively dearer. Then we have the size of the consumer group. If price of a commodity falls, the existing consumers may consume more, and in addition to that, even new consumers may join the group. Lastly, we have the different uses of a commodity. If the price of the commodity falls, it may be put to alternative uses as well. This would increase the quantity demanded of it. However, there are certain exceptions to the law of demand. One such exception was analyzed by Sir Robert Giffin. According to him, there are certain cases where due to increase in price, the quantity demanded of it increases, and hence shows a positive relationship between them. Therefore, the demand curve is upward sloping. The causes of upward sloping demand curve are articles of distinction. This was also known as the Veblen effect. The more capability a commodity would have to enhance the status, more of it will be demanded at higher price. Second factor is the ignorance. If a consumer is ignorant in the purchase of a commodity, he may buy it at a higher price. Lastly, we have Giffen goods. These goods are a part of inferior goods whose quantity demanded falls with the fall in price. After studying the individual demand, let's understand the market demand in detail. The market demand is the sum of individual demands. The factors which determine the market demand are: first, own price of a commodity, which has a negative relationship with the market demand. Second, we have the income of the individuals having a positive relationship with the quantity demanded. Then price of related commodities. Then we have advertising expenditure. This can be explained as more the advertising expenditure, more will be the consumers influenced to consume the commodity, hence increasing the market demand. Lastly, we have the number of consumers or population. More the population, more will be the quantity demanded, thus showing a positive relationship between them. So this is how the market demand curve looks like. It is the summation of individual demands and thus is comparatively more flatter. So what is the relationship between the demand function and demand curve? The demand function shows the relationship between quantity demanded and other independent variables like income, taste and preferences, etc. On the other hand, demand curve shows the relationship between the quantity demanded and price alone, keeping other variables constant. Let's now divert our attention to bandwagon effect. According to this, the commodity is demanded by a consumer simply because others are demanding it. You may say that the commodity is demanded because it is in fashion. We have another effect known as the snob effect. According to the snob effect, a commodity is demanded only if it has a prestige value. That is, it is demanded only if it's exclusive. As a result, the demand curve for it is steeper because only few people will be able to purchase those goods. So what is change in demand? Any change caused in the demand due to the factors other than price is called the change in demand. This leads to the shift in the demand curve, which may lead to either increase in demand or decrease in demand. Increase in demand would lead to a rightward shift in the demand curve, and decrease in demand would cause the demand curve to shift leftwards. So increase in demand would lead to outward shift in the demand curve, whereas decrease in demand would lead to an inward shift in the demand curve. By increase in demand, it is implied that more of the commodity is demanded at the same price. Therefore, the causes of increase in demand are increase in the income of the consumer, increase in the price of the substitute goods, decrease in the price of a complementary good, favorable change in taste, expected increase in the future prices, increase in the number of consumers, and finally the expected increase in future income. On the other hand, decrease in demand means the less of the commodity is demanded at the same price. Therefore, the causes of decrease in demand are decrease in the income of the consumer, decrease in the price of the substitute goods, increase in the price of the complementary goods, unfavorable change in taste, expected decrease in future prices, decrease in the number of consumers, and lastly the expected decrease in future income. So what do we mean by the demand for durable goods? But first we need to know what are durable goods. These are the goods which give services for a long period of time. This implies that they can be stored for long term. As a result, they have a volatile demand. Also, the demand for such goods can be postponed. The features of durable goods are: number 1, they can be easily stored. As a result, the producers, distributors and consumers keep inventories or stock of those goods. The replacement can be deferred, that is, the demand for such commodities can be postponed. So the difference between durable and non-durable goods are that durable goods are purchased to get services in future, whereas non-durable goods are purchased for current consumption only. Secondly, the demand for durable goods is volatile because their consumption can be postponed. On the other hand, demand fluctuations in case of non-durable goods are less. Lastly, we have the concept of derived demand. These are those goods which are not demanded to satisfy the wants directly. That is, they are used in the production process of consumer goods. The most common example of derived demand is that for labor. We hope that the chapter was clear to you, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. You may visit our website www.economicsharbor.com or email us at admin@economicsharbor.com. Thank you and take care.